So today we'll be getting into some stories regarding John Cena, the Smackdown women's division, and some reports surrounding WWE Extreme Rules. Let's start things off with this news from John Cena. John Cena put an end to his very long WWE hiatus when he returned to WWE this past summer. John Cena was back on a near full-time schedule for WWE. He appeared on mostly Smackdown episodes following his Money in the Bank return, and even went on the road with WWE to wrestle at several live event house shows. All of those live events featuring John Cena allegedly did very well for WWE when it came to ticket sales, so that's always a great thing for them. But despite wrestling all of those live event matches, John Cena didn't compete on SmackDown at all during his latest run, and only wrestled that one match at SummerSlam before saying his goodbye. Cena did briefly make a return at WWE's MSG show, but it was for a dark match after SmackDown was pretty much just a one-off special appearance for the Madison Square Garden show. Now, we talked about how Finn Balor already has his eyes set on John Cena for WrestleMania, so that'll be an interesting return story for Cena as well. Finn Balor still wants revenge for that moment, so that will be a possibility for when Cena does return to WWE television. But John Cena was recently at Florida SuperCon for a panel and was asked a lot of interesting questions from the fans. One of the questions the fans asked was if there's a chance John Cena would ever wrestle outside of the WWE. Cena had this to say in response to that question. There's a whole never say never philosophy, and I'm also that way in life because you never know what life will bring you, but I can with certainty say no. So even though Cena says never say never, for most things in life, this is the one thing that he can most definitely say will never happen. John Cena says that he will never wrestle outside of the WWE at all for anywhere else. And you can sort of understand that. WWE has been John Cena's one and only home for nearly 20 years now. Even with him quickly becoming one of Hollywood's biggest actors, he still tries his best to make time for WWE because he still holds WWE very close to his heart. And with this theme we've been seeing lately of these once loyal WWE stars jumping over to AEW, like your big shows, Mark Henry's and Daniel Bryan's of the world, it looks like that's what inspired the fan to ask John Cena if there's a possibility we may ever see him wrestle somewhere outside of the WWE. But like we went over right there with his response, he's slamming the door shut and saying there's no chance that he'll ever wrestle anywhere else. So we can look forward to more WWE returns from John Cena in the future, but as far as him wrestling in other locations, doesn't sound like that's happening at all. Let's jump back into the SmackDown women's division and check back in on some of our issues there that we've been discussing. Plus, the missing star that just broke her silence. The title picture right now still consists of Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair. And that's been a lot of fun so far, especially from Becky's point of view as well. Becky is coming out in fresh looks, different attire, really coming out with new looks that we've never really seen her wear before. A lot of fans are also comparing Becky's new wardrobe to her husband's wardrobe. Seth Rollins is known for making big fashion statements every week with his crazy suits, and Becky is starting to make some fashion statements herself every week. Not only that, but her character and new persona as well. It feels like we truly haven't unwrapped Becky's entire new heel persona quite yet. We're still learning about the new Becky, how she operates, how she functions compared to the older version of Becky's character. So it's been great to see bits and pieces of Becky's new persona every week, and it'll probably take some time before we see the full-blown heel Becky Lynch. Bianca Belair is still doing her thing as well. A lot of superstars and fans didn't like what WWE did to Bianca Belair at SummerSlam, but that moment did help to get more fans behind Bianca. Fans are still furious about that moment and really want her to get the title back. In other SmackDown Women's Division news, Liv Morgan and Toni Storm teamed up to take on Carmella and Zelina Vega. It really wasn't much of a match though, because Carmella would fake a nose injury and get counted out. But it did set up an Extreme Rules match between Liv and Carmella, so at least there's some non-title feuds going on again. But for Toni Storm, that was her second ever match on Smackdown. You have to go way back to her debut on July 23rd to find her last Smackdown match. So that is a bit concerning for her usage. They bring her in, debut her on July 23rd, and never use her until 2 months later. So that is a bit worrisome. Speaking of missing stars, that brings us to Mia Yim. No one knows what's going on with Mia Yim. Mia made her debut on Raw as a part of Retribution, but the group was horribly mishandled, they split up, and all the members were sent to different brands. Mia went to SmackDown in the spring. Reports claim that WWE was prepared to have Mia vs. Carmella one day on SmackDown, but it was cut for time. However, WWE never revisited that match or Mia's SmackDown debut all these months later, which has led fans to wonder, what's going on with her? Is she hurt, sick, or dealing with any other issue like that? Well, Mia took to Twitter to break her silence and said that she's not injured. So it does clear up her WWE status a bit, saying that her long absence is not injury related, which leaves us really with one other option. And that's the fact that it must have been creative related. SmackDown is a shorter show, and the women's division doesn't really get that much time outside of the title picture. So these are all reasons and key factors that probably are keeping Mia Yim away from SmackDown. So we'll have to see how that continues to unfold, and if we'll ever see Mia's SmackDown debut anytime soon. Extreme Rules is looking like a loaded card, but could it also be loaded with some surprise appearances? There's some rumors and fan theories going around right now that builds the case for some superstars to either return or make a surprise appearance at Extreme Rules. Starting off with Sasha Banks. This Sasha situation still has a tight lid on it, but that's most likely being done to keep her return a surprise as well. A title change isn't expected and doesn't really make much sense to happen at Extreme Rules for the SmackDown Women's division. But what still is possible is a return from Sasha Banks. With how a title opportunity was robbed from Sasha Banks for whatever storyline reason they want to go with, it makes sense for Sasha to return very furious and target Becky and Bianca. Could she target Bianca? Sure, she can. But if her goal is the SmackDown Women's title, maybe it makes sense for Sasha to go after Becky as well. So that's a possibility. WWE has also flirted with the idea of Brock Lesnar making a presence felt at Extreme Rules. We saw Roman Reigns ask the question to Paul Heyman aloud, and Heyman seemed a bit unsure about the answer. So it seems that WWE is at least wanting the audience to consider that a Brock Lesnar appearance at Extreme Rules could be a possibility, and is something that is in the back of Roman's head. The more bigger return that's quickly gaining momentum is Keith Lee. Reports claim that WWE's big plans for Keith Lee was to turn him heel with Adam Cole as his manager. We know how that turned out. Adam Cole didn't seem to be pleased with that idea and departed from the company for AEW. But could WWE still be sticking with their heel plans for Keith Lee and have him make a big return to face someone like Big E? It all seems like great possibilities, so we'll have to wait and see. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments, don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.